This is episode 540 on the 29th of June 2022, the final episode of June 2022. And with this begins an important week, an important month. It is the countdown to the milestone episode, another milestone episode which greets the best in the world, which meets the best in the world and celebrates the best in the world. No one else comes close, no one else will. No talk show, no podcast, no YouTube, no Instagram channel will ever come close to being the quality that this talk show provides. And there is ample proof. We are going to reach 550 episodes, and can there be a greater achievement than reaching 550 episodes? No. In just a few weeks from now, we will reach 550 episodes, and it will continue. 550, 600, 650, 700, 750, 800, 850, 950, 1000, and so on and so forth. Whether anyone else has the incompetent companies called Instagram or any other channel, they don't come close to it. You have to be consistent, and no talk show has been as consistent as this. There are other individuals who do have their own programs, but that's once in a month. What's the fun in having a program that is once in a month? There are times when you have to do things which means you may not have your program as originally scheduled. You will have to change, but that's a minor thing. There may be times when the program may be delayed, but that's something which happens once in a blue moon, which only happens in rarest of rare occurrences. But if things are going as per plan, then 550 episodes is an achievement that needs to be celebrated. How does it need to be celebrated? The way you celebrate something as ridiculous as celebrating 20 years, for example, of John Cena is in the business, out of which in the last 5 years he hasn't been a regular part of the professional wrestling roster. He's been what one calls once in a blue moon or free agent wrestler. Technically, John Cena has not completed 20 years. He's only completed 20 years because he made his debut in 2002, an era in which we are still obsessed with, because the likes of Lesnar and Randy Orton and their contemporaries Edge and Christian Cage made their debuts, and they've spent over 20 to 25 years in that business. Technically, even Rock does not complete 25 years or more than that, because since 2011, even Rock has been a semi-retired professional wrestler, moving on to the more lucrative film and entertainment business. He's not come to WWE even for his 25th anniversary celebration, maybe he doesn't care. And it's surprising that of all the organizations who cared about 25 years of Rock or 20 years of John Cena, it was the Indian channel which broadcasts that particular wrestling company in India. They got more carried away. So they had a full 20 days of his former archival videos, which is ridiculous. Well, good for them if they want to get excited. What made them do all that, I don't know. But we'll talk all about that on a later date. Let's get and understand the countdown to another milestone episode, the 550th episode. Such milestones don't come often. Well, we'll see when the 600th episode comes. Things are going to change in the next few weeks. What are they? That's not critical, but you will see a change of scheduling as far as this talk show is concerned. And why is that happening? As I said, sometimes things have to change. You have to somehow look at other things which might dominate, but that's not important. The important thing is, in just a few weeks from now, we are going to celebrate the 550th episode. How will I do that? I'll do that as I do any other episode. And when the time comes, we will surely celebrate it. But let's move on to a tournament which was always on the fringes, always underrated. The players who were selected were always on that fringe that they are auditioning for a couple of spots. You already have few individuals who are booked and permanent till, of course, they call it a day. But there are few individuals who are in that backup zone, who are in that auditioning for a few spot zone. And the India-South Africa tournament, the India-Ireland tournament, that's what these tournaments were organized for. So it was all about fringe benefits. The interesting part is, in this India-Ireland tournament, if we can say that it is the fringe players who are not assured of a permanent spot in the team, because a few individuals have already sealed the spots because of the time they have spent over the past 13 to 14 years. Even the commentary panel for this tournament is fringe. In fact, fringe would be a nice term for them. I don't even know what do I call the commentary team selected for this tournament. It seems as if, once again, as I said, the broadcaster doesn't have the budget to pay the salaries of the commentary panel, so they get the scum of the commentators to be a part of this tournament. Who are they? Well, they are the scum of the commentators. They are at the lowest level of the commentary panel. Forget elite. They are nowhere near even decent commentators. They are the scum. They're at the bottom of the filthiest pile of commentators, and that's what they are. But let's talk about yesterday's game. The first game, India won comfortably, chasing over 100 runs in 9 overs. The second game, interestingly, they scored 7 for 225, and one thought, no way Ireland will chase it. Ireland has done well against its own contemporaries in associate nations, which are more than 20 associate nations, from Germany to Italy to Malta to US to half the Europe is interested in playing this sport. Imagine that. Germany's chance of playing a World Cup, whether it's 20 overs or 50 overs, has more chances on India ever playing the Football World Cup. Look at the irony and the duplicity of this situation. A Germany, a Italy, a US, a Malta, a Gibraltar may qualify for the 20 over World Cup. Maybe not this one, maybe in 2024 or 2026 or 28, whenever it's scheduled. But India's chances of playing the Football World Cup are bleak. In fact, there is no chance, which for me is a matter of utter shame. We should put our heads down in shame that due to the policies of the Indian Football Federation and the way we treat football in India, which is, well, once again at the bottom of the pile, tweeted by the bottom of the pile newspaper writers. We don't think that India has the potential to make it to a Football World Cup. When you give them the ranking, which is 104, there is no way they are making it. But a Germany, a Italy, a US, France, even one day may have a chance of playing a 20-over World Cup, which will be a big deal for them, knowing that that sport has no connection to cricket. They have rugby, they have football, they are a gun hockey team. But countries like US, Italy, Germany playing cricket, that's a huge change. Why did it take so long for the International Cricket Board to even realize this? I don't know what's going in their thick head of theirs, but it is a possibility. Which of these teams will qualify? I don't know. The qualification has already begun. India qualifying for the Asia Cup in football was a big deal, but it still got 25% of the newspaper coverage, while we were excited about fringe players like Djokovic and Nadal. No one cares about them. But let's not go there. Let's talk about yesterday's match. Of course, Ireland fought and fought. Of course, one can say that the ground is small, so once India scored 225, Ireland scoring 222 was never going to be a problem, or 221, whatever be it. But that's the situation. They got it close, and the main show that India was sweating right till the last ball. There was never a dull moment in the match, and this narrow 4-win loss will give them the confidence that tomorrow, if we face teams like Australia and South Africa and England and all the overhyped hyperbole teams, we will do well. We will stretch them to the limit, and that's what they did. It was a last ball finish. One can say that it was an inexperienced bowling lineup, which resulted in poor bowling. You pick your choice, inexperienced or poor, or inexperienced and poor, because the size of the ground doesn't matter, because it's equal for both teams. But it was an exciting match. Of course, India could have scored maybe 10-12 runs more. Of course, even if a team scores 550 overs, you say it's not enough. You scored 500 in test matches, it's not enough. What is enough in this sport? India could have scored 250. It still would have not been enough, even if Ireland lost the match by 30 runs. You never know, 250 could have given Ireland more choices. But to stretch the team, something to think about. So the likes of Harshal Patel, Umran Malik went for runs, which means will they be a part of the final 17-member squad? There's still a long way to go. You cannot judge them by this tournament. This tournament was never going to be taken seriously anyways. Those who got chances, they did well. Deepak Huda got a century. He puts himself in that list. And I have seen players like Kohli and Gambhir and Rohit and the rest start or resurrect their careers by playing fringe teams. India started once upon a time by playing Bangladesh in a post-2003 World Cup, when the likes of Gambhir and Sehwag were sent to play their tournament, while Tendulkars and Dravids were rested. This is not the first time a second string side, which I don't agree with, but that's the acceptable term, has been sent to a country whose rising stocks in this sport have not endeared many. if this was an Ireland Netherlands game, there are two teams at an equal level. If this was Ireland Scotland, two teams at an equal level. So if Ireland beats Scotland, that's like India beating Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Australia. If India beats Ireland, that's like saying that's obvious. But if Ireland runs India close and ragged, that's like saying India running teams like Germany and France and Italy and Brazil ragged. But Ireland playing India or New Zealand is more than India ever, whether it's friendly or any qualification match, India ever playing the likes of Brazil and Germany. If that happens, the newspapers will dismiss it. How can India play in football the likes of Brazil? It's a mismatch. Of course, you will call it a mismatch. You're obsessed with Brazil. You're obsessed with Germany. They were nobodies. India could have easily been a great football team, but the lackluster attitude of the governing bodies, of the international governing body, of the PPED media caused them a chance. India could have easily been part of every World Cup, could have been part of this year's World Cup. But no, that's not the case. But we'll discuss this more. Let's move on to something even more interesting. Everyone has been talking about the India-England tournament, and everyone has been putting in their opinions in the same way like we have our noses. Everyone has an opinion, and everyone has been mesmerized by the sudden emergence of England's test attitude, where they attacked and they won chasing 250 plus thrice. I'm not surprised by it. And they went bang, bang, bang. Of course, under the tutorship of McCullum and Stokes with that aggressive attitude, ruthless aggression and whatnot. I'm not surprised. And now, though I don't really agree, a semi-retired player has said that India is undercooked. They will run into an England team who are not willing to die down without a fight, who are ready to chase 250, 270, 280, and even if there are 70 overs left, they'll chase down that score in 50 overs. But that was New Zealand, a good team. This is India. It's not going to be an easy fight. And then, of course, with neither Rahul or Rohit available, one is injured, one has got the flu, and whether he will be cleared, whether there are quarantine rules in England or not. The question is, will Rohit Sharma be cleared to play in the game which happens just 24 hours, 48 hours from now? Technically, 54 hours. In 54 hours, will he be declared fit enough to play? If he is not, who will replace him? They fast-tracked Mayank Agarwal into the team. So what would be my team for Game 5? This would be a team which most of the pseudo experts, the bottom of the pile, the filth, would not pick up because they are filth. So they don't have that kind of a mindset. And for me, it doesn't matter who the captain is. Of course, Rohit is that designated interim captain for now. But I won't go into details. If he's not available, if he's not cleared, they don't want him to force him to clear him unless something else happens. So Rahul injured, Rohit has got the flu. Will he be cleared? One doesn't know. The question is then who will be the leader? At least the leader for namesake. So for Friday's game, we'll discuss this more in detail on Friday. But for now, for Friday's game, what would be my team? Well, let's see what would be my team. I would open with Srikar Bharat and Shubman Gill, or at this point I would open with Agarwal and Gill, if that's the acceptable thing. Inexperience or not, Agarwal / Bharat, whether they have the experience or not, Gill. So, and Gill is the opener who was the designated opener because Rahul is not there to open with Rohit. Now with Rohit Will he be cleared or not? It's a mystery. So between Agarwal, Bharat and Gill, two of these will play. They can risk opening with Pujara, but they may not. Then a choice between Vihari and Pujara. They might go with Pujara, looking at his experience and the mindset required. Though Vihari and Pujara not much of a difference. Don't expect Pujara and Vihari to make 130 of 70 ball. That is not going to happen. So between Vihari and Pujara, one individual, Kohli, if he is fit, if he has recovered from the virus, he's there. Then I would go with Iyer because we need that aggression. Iyer is the one, Shreyas Iyer, who can hit 100 of 75 balls if the situation requires. And then comes my biggest punt. That Rishabh Pant, if Rohit is not there, is my captain for that team. Of course, captain and wicketkeeper for that day. Of course, it will shock a few individuals, but I would do that. And then in terms of spinners, between Jadeja and Ashwin, but then the question is, Ashwin is also recovering from the flu. So is he fit? That comes into question. So if whoever is fit, they play. And then I would go with the four fast bowlers in the all-rounder of Thakur. Shami and Bumrah are always there. And then a difficult choice between Siraj and Prasidh Krishna. So it's a difficult choice. If Rohit is fit, he opens with Gill. Choice between Vihari and Pujara. If Rohit is not fit, then either Srikar Bharat or Mayank Agarwal open with Gill. A choice between Vihari and Pujara. And things are tilting towards Pujara because of his experience and because we need that mindset. So a tough choice. Kohli at 4 doesn't go anywhere. You need the ruthless aggression, so you have Iyer and Pant. And if Rohit is not fit or not declared fit in the next 54 hours, then Pant is my captain and wicket keeper, no matter how controversial does it sound. But I am not the one who will decide the final team. It will be the team management. So what is hovering in their minds, I don't know. Of course, with the vanilla selectors also trying to influence the situation. And then the spinners, always a tough choice. Because I would say 4 fast bowlers and a spinner. With spinner, whoever is declared fit between Jadeja and Ashwin, and maybe at this point it's one match. If we can forget what happened last year, India won. I'm sure even if it was a deja vu, even if India gave England a target of 300, let's say India bats first, bats decently, gets a lead and gives a target around 300, 320 to England in the last 2 days. While New Zealand is a good team, I think that ego of being the Test champions caused them. India had nothing to lose. If they win, it's 3-1. If they lose, it's 2-all. And I'm sure weather will play a huge role. Weather will be a win-win for India. The weather didn't affect the New Zealand-England matches too much. So maybe the weather is fine at this point in this part of the world. But if India were to give England a target of around 300 plus, despite what we saw them do against New Zealand, it's not going to be that straightforward. You have bowlers like Shami and Bumrah, a choice between Siraj and Prasidh Krishna, the all-rounder in Thakur, then a choice between Jadeja and Ashwin, then a cerebral captain in Pant if Rohit is not available. And if Rohit is not available, what a chance for Pant to cement his legacy. But it will be at the same time a pressure game. Can he do it? I've seen lesser mortal individuals do it. So he's as talented as is. of course, the choice is, can they make Kohli the captain again? Maybe to counter the aggression of Ben Stokes, they may want the aggression of Kohli. They may ask Kohli, can you be the captain since Rohit is not available? Kohli might agree. He may say, okay, aggression needs aggression. Iron sharpens iron. So to counter the Stokes McCullum aggressive attitude, they may go to Kohli but then you look at Stokes, he doesn't jump like a 5-year-old every time something good happens. The aggression doesn't come in the expression, the aggression comes in the action speak louder than words. So Kohli's aggression is not aggression. It doesn't even count as aggression. So I would rather go with Pant, who would be a clear-headed captain, and then nothing wrong in going with that. I've said I've seen lesser mortals do the job. Pant will not jump in joy or celebrate like a juvenile in terms of Kohli. So Kohli is not your aggressive mindset kind of a person. I don't care if that's putting Pant in the frying pan. I would not, or it's putting Pant into the swimming pool without a life vest. Sometimes you need to do things without having a life vest, without having an insurance policy. If Rohit is not available, Pant is my guy. If Rohit is available, then Rohit is available. That's how I'm going to look at this situation, and that's how it will be. If anyone has anything to add or they disagree, well, you can message me. You can see the scroller at the bottom of your screen. You can message me anytime. So this ends episode number 540 on the 29th of June 2022, the final episode of June 2022. Stay tuned for the next episode on the 1st of July 2022 with episode number 541.